Welcome to the Jan Musin Garden Show on 99.7 and 1450 WHTC. It's your opportunity to learn more about your garden and your yard, about dealing with pests, and about taking care of the birds. You can be part of the show with your questions at 395-1450. That's 395-1450. And now, from DeBruyn Seeds on Washington Avenue in Zeeland, here's the Master Gardener, Jan Musin.
Good morning, Jan. I was wondering, I'm having a problem with my Christmas cactus. There's just flowers on three sides, and the one side there isn't any. Why would that be? Oh, I don't know. No, I always have it set in front of the window. Hmm. Mhm. Oh, huh. Okay. And I'm so happy this year it's blooming. I haven't had it bloom last year, and then I put some of the I transplanted some little ones, and that's already got buds on it. Yeah. Oh yeah, mine's blooming too. So, and I can't ever tell if it's a Thanksgiving or a Christmas. I To me they all look alike. Mhm. Okay, and what kind do you get in the store? Oh, okay. In 2 weeks? Okay, I'm going to keep calling. Yes. Okay, very good, Jen. Thank you. Yep, bye-bye.
Like 0 degrees out then. But I checked the long range forecast and it's okay to ship them. So we should be getting them in 2 weeks. I'm all excited. That's really a sign of Christmas by DeBruyn's when we get the Christmas cactus in. We've got the amaryllis in. They're looking beautiful. Oh, the bulbs are huge. We've got the waxed amaryllis in. We've got paper whites in. We've got tulips in and daffodils in. Hyacinths are still there. And we've got some crocus left too. So you still have time to plant your tulip bulbs. Don't worry about that. Um, I've got to I'm going to plant the last of mine this week, and I'm going to do some forcing of some tulips too. For the front of my house where the rabbits are bad, I usually put the tulips in a pot and put them up so the rabbits can't get at them. So then I fool the rabbits. I think I do, but then you find them sitting in the middle of them eating away in the morning. But that's okay. I'm going to plant a bunch of them in pots this year because I do have pots. Ken's got the tulips on sale, so hey, why not grab a couple of them and plant them right now? Um, you you really they need about 3 months of cold weather. So when you're forcing them and you put them in pots, you plant them so the tops are just equal with the top of the soil, and then you water them well, and then you put them on your deck or in a cold garage or whatever. I usually put them in my cold garage. I cover them up with some a black plastic garbage bag so I don't get any more light on it so it doesn't dry out the soil too much. I don't water them. I don't do anything except look at them, about middle of February, check what they're doing, and then I might take the black plastic off, and then they'll start to grow. Once they start to grow, head them into the house, and they'll start growing and blooming. So it's always fun to do. It's so easy to do. I mean, the work is all in the fall, just planting them, and that's really not work either. So Just enjoy it. You can plant a bunch of different types in one pot if you want. You can start with like some daffodil bulbs near the bottom, and then plant tulips on top of that, and then you can plant crocus on top of that. So you get 3 seasons of growth in there. That's kind of fun to do. I think they call that lasagna planting. That you've got layers in there, but a fun thing to do. So if you want to do something different, try the lasagna style tulip planting with the daffodils, and you could probably try some hyacinths and crocuses or grape hyacinths or whatever color combinations you want there. It should be very pretty. I would think I haven't done that yet, so I think I'm going to try that this year. I'm going to plant some daffodils down below and then put some tulips up above it and see if I can get them to come up. Maybe some early tulips with some later daffodils, and maybe they'll come up at the same time. That might be very pretty. Okay, I was talking about the Great Lakes Vegetable and Farm Expo. Again, December 5th through the 7th. It is, I noticed that they had 2 classes on how to grow lavender and things about lavender. I think that might be fun to go to. I've already picked out a couple more classes I want to go to. So you got to sit there and figure out, do I want to go to 1 day or 2 days of this? But the cost right now, if you go online to the Great Lakes Vegetable and Farm Market Expo, is $105. If you wait until after November 15, it goes up to $125. So, you'll be saving $20 if you do it right now. And it's well worth it. You're going to learn a lot. And they have a cider judging contest, and you get to drink all this cider from all these different places. That is fun. Everybody's got something different. They all taste different. I thought cider would be cider, but it isn't. Some use different types of apples. And then there was one that always does cherries, which is really fun. Something different. It's kind of refreshing after all that apple juice and cider. But yeah, if you go, I think they judge that on Tuesdays. And I think they might be doing some beer or something on Thursdays. I can't quite remember. I've been studying the Tuesday list because that's when my lavender classes are. And I'm thinking that might be when I go this year. I go every year. I have so much fun at this show. I learn so much. And, I've gone to, and I also get to sit in some classes that will help me. They do have some that will account towards your pesticide use license. So if you need to get some more credits at the end of the year here, if you go to this show, you can upgrade some of your credits on some of the classes. Just make sure you sign up for it, have your license so you know the number, and they will give you the credits for it. So, hey, and that's always good because you need those credits every year, continuing education. So, yeah, figure out which ones you can get it for. And they don't necessarily have anything to do. I found this out with, restricted use pesticides, but for some of them, you can get credit. So if you need that, again, that's the way to go. If you don't want to do that, there are some classes. If you want to go online to Michigan State Extension, there are some classes that you can take that will give you your credits. You can do that online now. It's so handy. You don't have to go to shows or anything. You do have to pay for that, but it really isn't that much. So, if you'd want to get your points in for the end of the year, do that right now. Also, Coffee with the Birds is coming up in December. This is a biggie one for Ottawa County. Kurt Dykstra, he will present this. December 9 is the first show, and it's feeder watching from 9:30 until 10:30. You could sit in a room at Hemlock Crossings, and it's got a huge window, and all these bird feeders are right outside. And he will, look at the tube feeder. There's a female junco at that one, and here's a chipping sparrow, and what's that doing here right now? And here's this, and if I listen to it or I watch it online, follow it online every time he does it. It's really interesting. He can figure, I know what kind of bird they are, but he will tell you exactly. I'm like, that's a sparrow, but I'm not quite sure what variety. He knows exactly what they are and whether they're a male or a female. That always impresses me when he can tell us that. I mean, I can do a male and female cardinal, but I can't do a male and female blue jay. I have no idea. You really have to look close on that one. But he can do that. He's really interesting to listen to. So between 9:30 and 10:30, you do the feeder watch with him, and at 10:30 he does a presentation. And every time it's something different. Last year he did one on snowy owls and one on I can't remember, but they were really interesting. Oh, he has gone to Alaska the last couple of years, and he did one on owls in Alaska. That was really interesting. They're always a fun thing to listen to. And then after 11:30 or 11, from 11 to 11:30, he's watching the birds again by the feeders. Last year there were some pileated woodpeckers by the feeders when we were watching. That was fun. So you can do it either live at Hemlock Crossing, or you can just go online and stream it online. So really fun. It is brought to you by County Parks of Ottawa County. So this is a fun thing. So December 9 is the first one, January 20, February 17, and March 16. They're also doing their contest, their bird picture contest. If you're the winner, you get your picture on the coffee mug. This is at the Ottawa County. This is a big thing to get the 2023 coffee mug with your bird's picture on it and your name on it. So that's always fun. So if you've got pictures, I think he might even be accepting in them right now. So you might want to try My Ottawa, miottawa.org/birding, and check it out. But they announced the winners at one of the presentations, and they've got a lot of really cool door prizes and prizes for that. I know DeBruyn Seed donates a lot of things for that. So yes, you got to listen to it at least once. If you're interested in birds, he has got so many different feeders. He comes to DeBruyn's and picks up all the bird feed, and he's got feeders with just sunflowers, some with sunflower hearts, some thistles, he's got everything out there. He's got just a thing of peanuts and whatever, and he'll show you what to do, how to put out feeders and whatever. We need to stop and take a quick break right now, but we'll be back with the Garden Show after these messages.
Let's get back to the Jan Musin Garden Show. Call the Master Gardener from DeBruyn Seeds in Zeeland now at 395-1450. Once again, here's Jan Musin.
And we are back. We've been talking about what's going on around Ottawa County here, and now we're going to, just kind of stick around what's going on at DeBruyn's. The heated pet beds are in. Those are always a big thing. We sell a lot of those, but we got large and small ones. It's a good selection, different colors. There's a couple different styles. Just remember your small cat or your cats or your small dogs. They really appreciate this. Remember, they live their life down there by the floor. It's a little bit cooler down there. So especially once they're getting a little older, they really love it. But I mean, Butterball's not that old, and he lives in his, and our sweet little Butternut, he loved his heated beds. I think he would, the ones that were on display, he would crawl in them, even though they weren't even plugged in. He loved his heated beds. So yeah, you get those, and people come in, they buy one, and maybe for their grand dog or grand cat, and they come in later and they go, oh my goodness, you gotta see this picture. I put this down, plugged it in, and the animals were right in it sleeping. So yeah, it's not a heating pad. It doesn't stay hot all the time. Only when the pet's pressure of them laying down does it heat up, and it just goes to their body temperature. That's as hot as it gets. So it just stays nice and cozy for the poor pets. So it's kind of nice. I would like that. Wish my bed did that in the winter. That would be very nice. But they'd love those little beds. So keep that in mind for a small animal. And Ken, I've said this before, has got a lot of the tulips and daffodils on sale right now. So if you haven't planted yours, there's still a good selection of colors. So they still had some Antoinette, which is one of my favorites. It starts out kind of orangey and it turns yellow as it matures. Very pretty. Those are pretty ones. And we've also got Hemisphere. That one starts out as a really dark fuchsia pink and kind of gets a little lighter pink flecks on it as it gets more mature. It's really pretty also. So I kind of like those that I can get kind of two different colors out of. So I don't have to buy that many tulips, but I got different colors. So those are kind of fun. But he's got a lot of different tulips and daffodils on sale right now. And also black oil sunflower right now is $14.98. Last year at this time, when I was looking at my little cheat sheet here that I had on my computer, it was $19.98, and that was the sale price. It is now $14.98. You're saving $5 a bag from last year, so you need to come in and stop in and pick some up and probably stock up on it. We have a lot of other stores that are buying from us right now. We get sunflower seed and bird seed in probably every 2 weeks. We get a semi-load in, so that's 44,000 pounds. So, yeah, we get a lot of it in, so we get it at a better price. And I'm always surprised at how many people will stop in and go, I need like 2 skids of that for my store. So we do that too. So, yes, $14.98, great deal. The Rodent Cafe, we've got those like gotcha traps that for the mice and rats that clamp down on them, and you just have to pick them up from the back and let it go. They're easy to set. They're easy to release it. You never have to touch the little thing, not like the little wood traps with that metal thing that you got. I can hard time setting it, and once it's the mouse is in there, sometimes you really got to peel that mouse off there. I don't really appreciate that. I kind of like the trap that you just let go and boom, it's gone. We've got some new ones in that are have more oomph when they snap shut. Sometimes the lighter weight plastic ones don't quite kill them. So then you've got like 10 seconds of them thrashing around and it just breaks my heart. Even though I don't really like them. The heavier duty ones, they snap down, they're dead. You don't get that little bit of thrashing around.
Will they take out the chipmunks?
We do have one for chipmunks, yes, and it's set in the backyard right now. I get a lot of chipmunks with that thing. I'm always surprised. So yeah, but Rodent Cafe is open at DeBruyn's right now with all kinds of stuff. Again, the amaryllis bulbs are in, and the waxed amaryllis bulbs are in. Paper whites, they're all looking really nice this year. And I would pick up the waxed amaryllis sooner rather than later. They're always on a tight amount every year. They only give us just so much, and that's it, folks. So put on you. And we do have those little baskets on a long pole that you go over the yard and it picks up acorns. Well, Caleb and I wanted to see how well it really worked. So we threw a bunch of tulip bulbs on the floor in the office and we ran that thing over. I am impressed at how well this thing picks up tulip bulbs too. So you got any little roundish type things in your lawn, this little guy will pick up just about anything. I find it very fun to use. We had a ball playing with it with the tulips. So Yeah. So, but we planted the tulips, so you're not going to have the tulips that we played around with. Don't worry, folks. They haven't been harmed that much, but really fun thing to do. So, if you've got an oak tree, and for some reason this year, well, it's usually because the tree was under stress, they'll chuck out all kinds of acorns, which they're doing right now. So, this way, pick it up so you don't, harm your lawnmower or whatever. Try to step on them and break your neck as you fall. So it's a good thing, fun thing to do. And yeah, again, as I came in the studio this morning, the sun is shining. It's a beautiful day out there, and the box elder bugs. Even though we had a hard frost this week, they're out there on the south side of the building, crawling all over, looking for a place to get in the building because they love spending time here with us inside. You still can do, spray them with the home defense, and you can do the perimeter around your house. Don't worry, you still can do that. Not a problem. And I would do that now because they're still out there. I was hoping I wouldn't see any, but I looked out there and yeah, I didn't see them at first. And oh yeah, there's black spots all over out there, and they're all kind of crawling around as the sun warms them up. So yes, they're out there. They're seeking a warm place to be. Not that they hurt anything in the house. They don't eat anything. They won't bite you. Even the stink bugs that want to come in and the Asian ladybugs, they all want to come in. When it warms up on a day in the winter and the sun's shining, and it will shine on one of the walls in your house and warm it up, but they don't go, they come out of hibernation and they go to the warm side, which would be the inside of the house. And then they're walking around and looking for a way to get out of here. Not that they're going to hurt anything, but they're walking around. I hate that. You need to get rid of them. You can vacuum them up if you want. You can smash them. Just remember that when you smash them, they'll leave a little stain on your wall. The box elder bugs and the ladybugs are kind of a reddish stain. The stink bug emits a horrible smell, and then that smell will attract more stink bugs out. So we don't want that. Be very careful. Vacuuming them up will get rid of them and not get to cause any problem, and make sure you empty the vacuum cleaner out after that. Or I just take the duct tape, take a piece of duct tape 6 inches long, and I put it on my jeans first and rip it off. And then I put it on the wall right over top of them and gently tap it on top of their body. And then you can pull it off the wall. Doesn't do any harm to the wall. They don't smash on the wall, and they're stuck in the duct tape, which you can roll up and throw away. Works extremely well. I've been killing everything this show. This is horrible. But I just don't like them and want to get rid of them. And that works well for me. So yeah, whatever you want to do. Remember, the mice are coming inside right now too. I would suspect that we had a lot of mice coming in a lot of places early part of this week because it got cold out. They don't like that. They're going to invade any barn, outbuilding, anything that you've got stored, campers, boats, cars. They will be inside just because it's a little warmer. So, get out to the rodent cafe and find out how you can keep them out. We need to stop and take a break. I guess a Jolly Rancher break, and then we will be back after the news.
Let's get back to the Jan Musin Garden Show. Call the Master Gardener from DeBruyn Seeds in Zeeland now at 395-1450. Once again, here's Jan Musin.
And we are back. Oh, it's a beautiful sunshiny day here in I was going to say Zeeland, but we actually are in Holland right now. But the sun is shining in Zeeland too. Beautiful sunny day. It's for all of you people that procrastinated and didn't get your fall chores done, we've got a couple of weeks now, it sounds like, to finish them off. So that little reminder on Tuesday was good enough for me. So yes, I was so glad I had brought in the last of my plants that I wanted to bring in on last Sunday already. I was so glad they were inside and they didn't get hit. That frost was terrible. I mean, it was down to about 28 degrees by my house. So that's a hard frost. So yes, I'm glad they're in, they're safe. I'm glad I got that done at least. And I've got most of my chores done outside. So I'm very happy, patting myself on the back for that. But I didn't get this done yet. And I don't know if any of you have remembered it, because I don't think I've reminded anybody. We've got days above freezing right now. So this is the time we can spray dormant oil on some of our evergreens. And maybe if you need it, the wilt stop that prevents them from drying out and turning brown during the winter. This is the time of year to do that. But it's got to be above freezing, and which it will be. So on the days above freezing, if you've got a problem with scale or some of those small insects that live over winter in the bark of your trees, dormant oil right now will smother them. That works extremely well. And if you've got scale, again, it smothers it and you don't have that problem next year. Do the dormant oil now, do it in the spring again also. It works, but it has to be above freezing to do that. And the wilt stop, especially on rhododendrons and sometimes your smaller evergreens that turn brown during the winter, it's just because there's wind that goes over the leaves and it sucks out moisture that's in the leaves. And if the evergreens and the ground is frozen, they can't pull up any more water into their leaves. So therefore they kind of turn brown and they desiccate. So we don't want that to happen. So we spray wilt stop above and below the leaf to kind of wrap it in a little plastic layer, so to speak. Really not plastic, but it just puts a layer over there so the wind doesn't dry out the leaves during the winter and you don't end up in the spring with a bunch of brown leaves or brown needles on your evergreen or your rhododendrons or azaleas. It works well. I've got one that seems to be, I've got all my plants like that are on the north side of my house, and that northwest wind hits them in the winter and just dries them out. The one really on the furthest to the west really gets hit a lot. So I do spray that with wilt stop in the winter. Make sure that I have put the, what is it? Hollytone. That's what it is. Put some hollytone around the base of it and water it well. Water these plants well right now, just to make sure that they've got enough water in them to last during the winter. So watering your small trees, your small bushes right now is always a good idea, just in case we get a really hard winter. And I was just reading, the Farmer's Almanac calls for more snow and colder temperatures than normal. And I was reading the national weather and they say not as much snow and warmer. So I don't know which one to believe. Could be either one. But if it is the Farmer's Almanac one, it's cold and a lot of snow. So you may want to do the dormant oil and the wilt stop and making sure they have enough water and fertilizing them just to keep them alive during the winter. You spend a lot on those bushes. They are not cheap to replace. So do take care of them. On the one that's furthest to the west, I guess what I really should do is put one of those their New View plant protectors, and they look like little green tents. They're really cute. You just put it over top of it and you kind of put the little stakes in the ground around it. It will stay there all winter. And in the spring, you just pick it up, fold it up, hang it up in the garage, and you can use it again next year. It works a lot better than the old rose cone that's plastic and you put it over top, or that styrofoam. Then you got to find a brick or something to put on top of that so it doesn't blow away. The little New View is a lot better it's a lot better deal than rose cones every year because this can be used over and over and over again. So if you get one of those bushes or a couple of them that always get hit in the winter, the little tents over top of them might be a good idea. And also, it's a great idea if you've got your your uh, your your little bushes like that are right underneath the eaves of your house, which is where they always seem to put them. And then that every once in a while you get that great big snowfall, that avalanche that comes down on top of those plants. The little tents will protect it from being smashed underneath there. So that's a good idea too. So to protect your little bushes, the little green tents work extremely well. You can even put them over your rose bushes. You don't need to use the rose cones, but we do have rose cones out there. This is the time of year to cut down your roses, cut back those roses now to about 12 to 18 inches tall. We get rid of all the junk that's underneath them. We mulch them up really well underneath, and then we put the rose cone on top, again with the stone or brick on top of that, and that's enough for the winter for your precious roses. I've got mine all trimmed down and I've got mine done right now. So I'm happy about that. That's one thing I did last weekend also. So I I got most of these things done. But you know, the rose bushes in the winter or the fall, all of a sudden they've got the most beautiful roses on them. And I don't know, it's because nothing else is really blooming like that or whatever. But hey, after last, week's hard frost, cut it down right now. Now is the time to do it. Don't cut it down so short that you cut underneath where the graft was put on it. Then you won't get the same color rose. You'll get whatever it was grafted onto, which is usually a white rose. It's usually an old fashioned white rose. That's what will come up next year. So if you want to keep it like it is, make sure you don't cut it below 12 to 18 inches tall, just so you don't cut that graft off. We need to stop and take a break, and we will be right back with the garden show after this.
Let's get back to the Jan Musin Garden Show. Call the Master Gardener from DeBruyn Seeds in Zeeland now at 395-1450. Once again, here's Jan Musin.
Okay, we're back, and I have not paid any attention, but the clock is back in front of me. I don't know where it appeared from, but I just noticed it. That is pathetic, Jan. You've been here for how long? Okay, well, I'm just going to talk about one of the hot topics at DeBruyn's this week is heated bird baths. This week was cold enough that we really needed to have the heated bird bath. And again, it doesn't keep the water hot. It's not going to be a sauna for the birds, the heated bird baths or the heater that goes in your existing bird bath. It just keeps it warm enough so it keeps the water open. So it's, just maybe 40 degrees. They do have thermostats on them right now that turn them on and off. So, you don't have to worry about them always being on and being too hot. So that's always fun. The birds do appreciate a source of water. You'd be surprised at how many birds and mammals you will get at an open bird bath during the winter. It's fun. I've had a friend that's had an owl by theirs. I've had people that have hawks by theirs. So you'll get just about every bird by a heated bird bath. Great fun to do. I go out there I used to go out there with a pie plate of water every morning and put it out for the birds. And by 11 o'clock, it'd be frozen solid. And then the next day I would put it out. They got to the point where they were sitting there waiting for me, at 5 a.m. when I would put that out. They knew better. They'll hold it. This gets cold really quickly. I always enjoyed watching them, and my cat enjoys watching them. But the heated bird bath, hey, that's a lot of fun to do. So we do have a nice selection of heated bird baths, and we also have the heaters that go in the bird bath. Unfortunately, none of these have really long cords, so you're going to need to get one of those extension cords, a little higher grade extension cord to plug in them, and then plug into the house. And you need to get one of those little things that goes around where the junction is, so you don't get water in there. But they work fine. They're just fun to have. I go out there, every morning, and I top it off, or I dump it all out and fill it all up again. It's great fun. I just cannot believe how many birds use it. They don't take a bath really in the winter so much, but they all come down to drink. You may want to put a couple of stones in your bird bath so the birds don't have to, submerge themselves so deep to get a drink of water. So I do that, or you could put like a stick across it so they can balance on that to get their water. I don't think I could do that, but they seem to be able to stand on a stone or a stick and get their water. So I have a couple of them placed in my bird bath, and it stays nice and warm in there for them. They love it, and they do appreciate it. So if you want to get more birds, put up a good bird feed that's got a lot of sunflower, some suet feeders out there, maybe some peanuts out there. Get them in for good quality bird seed and the water, and they'll be happy. Please, please, please don't feed the birds stale bread. What happens is, they do love it and it's fine, but they'll eat it up and fill up their tummies, and it's there's nothing in there that they can use for energy. It's absolutely empty calories. You know how we always yelled at the kids when they ate nothing but junk food, empty calories there. Birds, they got to keep themselves warm, so they need to up their calorie intake. And, if you're feeding them junk food, that's not helping them at all. If they get a diet of too much bread, their pin feathers come in wrong, and then they can't fly anymore. And that's what we've done to a lot of the ducks around here that don't fly away. They can't fly a long distance anymore because they've been fed so much stale bread or whatever you've got. As an occasional treat, maybe on a warmer day, it's okay, but don't do it as a, constant doing it. They would appreciate, some peas, or, don't do anything with dairy in it, but peas, frozen peas. They do like something like that. They do like, they'll eat meat. I don't really care putting meat out there because other animals get it, but they do love eggs. You put out a hard-boiled egg or something, they'll love you for it. Seems kind of odd, but they do love that sort of stuff. So, think of a healthier snack for them. Dried fruit they like, even grapes, coconut. They adore coconut. It's just something that's a little better for them. Raisins, something that you've got, cranberries maybe. Popcorn would be a good thing to feed them. They can get some nutrition out of that. So you get a little more imaginative and don't get out of the. I know when the grandkids come over, it's always fun by me to give the kids something. I've got some stale bread in the refrigerator. Give it to them. They can go out there and feed the ducks. But sometimes it's nicer to give them a little something better, a more nutritious, even just shelled corn. The ducks love that, and that's pretty inexpensive nowadays. And hey, sunflower bought at DeBruyn's still pretty cheap. So feed your animals, feed your birds something a little more nutritious that would be better, so they can keep their calorie intake high, so they don't freeze overnight. And again, if you have a birdhouse that's still up, like a bluebird house or whatever, go over there, clean it out, and then put it back up. The little birds will fly in there at night. You can get like 20 little birds in a birdhouse at night, in a bluebird house. And, they huddle together. They don't use as much calories to keep warm because they're all huddled together. It's kind of a fun little thing. But even a wren house, they'll fly in there and they'll just cuddle all up together so they stay warm. If you don't have one of the, if you got like a pine tree or spruce tree, I always like to watch this by my house. They'll huddle up right next to the tree in a group, and they stay warm that way. So it's kind of fun. Birds are fun to watch. I don't care night or day; they're fun to watch. Adam put up the little sign. I have to get out of here pretty quickly, so I will remind you that I will be back Tuesday morning at 8:35 with Dan, unless he's on the van. I don't know. Taking over for Brent, but 8:35 I will be here with whomever is here for the garden party. We just kind of give you a little tease of what we're going to talk about on the Talk of the Town at 10 o'clock on Tuesday, and that's with Gary. And we go from 10 to 11. We'll answer a lot of your questions about, hey, did I really need to do this, or did I do this right, or what am I doing with my geraniums? How do I keep those over winter? We'll answer a lot of those type of questions on the 10:30 Garden Hour with Gary. But the most important part is I will be back here next Saturday at 11:05 or whenever the news is over for the garden show. I've got them all right. I did it. Got 100% on my test today. I am so happy. I will be back here for the garden show next Saturday at 11:05, answering all your questions. Tell you what's kind of important over at DeBruyn's and what's happening in the world of plants and gardening. But until then, go green.
You've been listening to the Jan Musin Garden Show on 99.7, 1450 WHTC and WHTC.com. If you wish to hear this or other programs hosted by the Master Gardener from DeBruyn Seeds in Zeeland, check out the podcast section of our website, WHTC.com, and listen or download for free. The Jan Musin Garden Show is a presentation of 99.7 and 1450 WHTC.